Okay. Huh. I'm on a new computer, so it's asking me to grant
Oh, you got your
access.
new one. Good.
Yeah, I did finally. Okay, let me grant access here. Then I use Zoom on it, so, okay, there we go. Later. All right, let's see if it'll let me do this without quitting. If I do have to quit, we'll just all log back in again, but let's see. No, we're good. All right.
Yeah, looks like it's recording.
Yeah. Everybody see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. Now to nope, that's all good. Okay. All right, let's get started.
Okay. Well, this is a female blackbird. I was out taking some photos of loons the other day there, about a week ago, I guess now. And there's quite a lot of these blackbirds around, but you know, the same kind of old story is you keep on taking some photos of, you know, regular birds that are very popular or common, but you can always get a better one. And this is probably one of the best shots I've had of a blackbird. So, so I thought I'd bring that one in.
Called a blackbird?
Red winged
Female,
blackbird.
a female blackbird, yeah.
Hmm.
Female red-winged.
Oh, the
Black.
male has
Oh.
is black and has the red wings.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm looking and I'm like, it doesn't look real black to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, it don't look
Oh.
like the blackbirds in Illinois.
It's very cute,
They have that nice big patch on the red patch on their wing.
Yeah.
very cute.
Yeah. It looks like you might be able to shoot a little and sharpen this up a bit just to make the eye a little sharper.
Okay.
I like the composition. I like the fact that it's off center. Background's nice. I'm wondering if you should possibly lighten this up a bit too, so it doesn't
Okay.
compete. You know, maybe something along this line here, or even here. Would be my thoughts. Anybody else?
I like the
Maybe.
colors on the face kind of match the cattail color. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I maybe crop a little bit off to the right-hand side,
Mhm.
just a little.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is, no, it's not a square. I guess I could have went with a square.
Yeah, square would be
Let's see.
really nice.
I normally do end up with square ones, but not in this case.
Well, that's, yeah,
Just a little too small, I think.
that's square. So I would probably just cheat it out a little bit, like somewhere in there.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
So the cattails are still centered and this one's a little off, so you're gonna lose your autograph there, but yeah.
Hmm.
so,
That brings that black above the head and quite a bit more.
And it
noticeable.
Makes
Yeah.
the bird a little bit bigger too.
Yeah.
I like it.
Suppose you could knock some of that down. Back here.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, I'd still lighten up that dark area.
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you using Photoshop?
No, right now I'm just using preview on a Mac.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will be using Photoshop and Lightroom and probably Luminar Neo. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not.
Hmm.
Yeah, we kind of bounce around, but I'll let you know when I change into different programs.
Yeah.
And don't hesitate to ask if you don't understand anything. I'll run through it again for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Nice.
So actually, this is the same day. We drove out to an area that's called Kananaskis. It's kind of in between the mountains and Calgary. It's a beautiful area. And this is a wild horse. So we came across some wild horses.
Hmm.
And yeah, this is the one I liked. Just
Did you crop this down a bit?
Oh, not really. I cropped it down a little bit, but that was my intention to take this view. But yeah, I think I couldn't get any more off the bottom because I'd lost the bottom
Ah,
part.
okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering if this part of the right foot should have stayed in or not. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just,
I can't remember now, to be honest. It might be there, I'm not sure.
yeah, yeah,
It's just mostly the feathers there, so you're not really cutting the leg off.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Nice angle, Alan. I love it.
thank you. Just amazing horses, and you know, the condition that they're in is just amazing. And the weather that these guys put up with, I just don't know how they survive. I really have no idea.
Yeah.
Mm,
So,
I
yeah.
love how the forelock frames his eye.
yeah.
It's just so perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, let me turn on my.
I was trying to make sure his eyelashes are kind of sharp there, but
Mhm.
You did good.
Yeah.
I guess they like dandelions, which is a good thing.
Evidently.
Let me
Yeah.
just grab my cursor here real quick. Thought it was up, but evidently it's not. Ah. There we go. All right. I would probably lose this little piece of weed here.
Okay.
Yeah.
She got this real nice little piece of hair coming down out of the,
Right.
it's part of his mane. Yeah. And then you got a little piece up here too. I really love the jawline and your point of view is great.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
wondering if you should darken this up a little bit so you get, or maybe even make it more out of focus. Maybe a little both, just to keep your eye here.
Okay. Too, it's a little bit too light there, eh? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, let's take a look. Okay, now I'm gonna go into Photoshop. So. History. So yeah, I think just some quick cloning would be really easy to do. Now I've set mine up so all my you guys over here. So all my tools are here because I'm always working over here with layers anyway and going back and forth across the screen. I feel it's a waste of time. So I've just moved my tools over here
Okay.
out of convenience. So this is
You
not,
just drag that toolbar over, Sandy, or
what's that?
you just drag the whole toolbar over? to the left?
Yeah, you just see you can drag it off and put it wherever you want it.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know if I can get it back there. Anyway, yeah, there you go. You just got to hit that little yellow, blue line there.
Okay.
That's a great idea, Sandy.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I did that a few years back. I said, why do I keep doing that? Just move the tools. Anyway, so yeah, we could do a number of things here for getting that out. But just to yeah, let me just get this out of the way since it's a little bit of a bother. I probably could have used a bigger brush. There we go.
You have one little piece at the top still there and a little bit of ghosting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, still see a little here too.
Yeah, a little ghosting.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so much better.
I think
Really is that weed kind of really bothered my eye.
Yeah, and then I just,
Right.
looks like it wants to just keep that there, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a little better. All right. Sometimes if you use a healing brush, it'll pick things that are still there that you don't want. So you can just move it a hair and try it again. Just click. If that doesn't work, then you'll need to move to a clone brush.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to darkening this guy down, there's a number of ways we can do it, but I think probably. All right, so we do it with a layer. We could just watch this area. Actually, I'm going to do a curves layer here. Okay. And to make it easy, you've got this little tool with a finger on it. If you click on that and come over and hit the area you want and hold down, it'll put a line in your curve. And just watching that area, and then you can go back and adjust it accordingly. Just watching that area, you can kind of see it if it's going to darken it down enough. I think I want to pull the highlight down more. And then take this down. There we go. All right. And then I'm going to hold on the mask and I'm going to do Command Invert to make it all black. And then I'm going to select white as a foreground color and use a brush and go a little bigger than that. I'm just going to paint it in where I want it. Okay. Using my X key, I can paint away the stuff where it oversprayed a bit. There we go. All right, so now I've done that, I can just click on the actual curves layer and adjust accordingly. And that, maybe somewhere in there. Maybe I don't take my blacks down too much. Valerie, do you understand curves at all?
I use them a little bit. I don't know. I would say I don't think I understand them, but I use.
Yeah.
I use them.
Okay, so basically your blackest blacks down here, your whitest whites
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
Your quarter tone, 3/4 tone, midtones are there. The histogram shows where most of the tones are. So sometimes if you're adjusting, you cheat it over a little bit and then pull it down a little bit. Maybe something like that.
Yeah.
And then rather than adjusting the whole curving,
Excuse
you
me,
get this.
Briefing.
So, sorry, that's my stupid thing here.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, that was just a
Oh, that was
voice
your
I used.
recording, your AI voice again. Okay. And then if you want to adjust this a little bit, just to tweak it, just use your opacity rather than having to move these points, and then you can just make it just
Yeah.
about where you want it. So I'm thinking maybe somewhere about there. So then you can turn this on and off and see. Yeah, it doesn't need a lot. Maybe something like that. Yeah, that might be just enough. And then I would just maybe tick a little bit in over here too. So we got
Okay.
go
Yeah.
back to our brush and make sure we're on the mask. And come over here. And I'm gonna take the brush down to, instead of 100%, I'm gonna take it down to like 30% opacity, and just kind of make sure it's white. So I'm gonna use my X key there. Just start bringing it in. Just a little up in here too. Okay, so here's what that's doing. I think that's just enough to keep your eye here.
Okay,
Yeah. All righty.
good.
How cute.
Yeah, got this one yesterday, I think. Yeah, it was yesterday.
Mhm.
It was a yellow warbler.
Wow.
Can sing a real nice song.
Now you get everything nice and sharp on the face and the head this time. That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I like the movement in here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just left it was just a plain dull sky, but
Mhm.
I'm liking that more and more now, to be honest with you, because some of these sky replacement things are just getting a little bit, I think, too overused a little bit. But
I agree. Yeah, if anything, maybe a background with some subtle bokeh tones in it.
yeah,
That would
yeah.
be about it. Yeah.
But It's really nice. I think the gray plays well with the yellow.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's cool enough that you get the
Mhm.
warm and cool contrast going.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
How do you guys feel about this being so sharp here? You think maybe drop that back a little bit? Just to keep your focus here.
Yeah, maybe just a hair.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could just soften this just a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah, I wouldn't take it that soft, but yeah, maybe somewhere down in here.
yeah,
Or up here is pretty soft. Yeah. So maybe just from here to here.
okay.
What tool would you be using to soften that up?
You could do a blur. There's a number of ways. You don't really have a, when you're covering a lot of area like that. Let's go back to Photoshop. You don't really have a good feel for doing it, because as you go back and forth, it builds up, and if you keep it at a low percentage, you might not cover it really evenly. But the tool that you normally would use would be right here, this blur tool. Okay. And I would actually start another layer above it, use the blur tool above it. And that's one way to do it. Let's just see if it works. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Maybe just a little there. Yeah, I guess that'll work. The other way would be to duplicate the layer, blur it, and then through a mask, pull it through where you want it. Do you know how to do that?
No.
Okay, well, I can show you that too. All right, so that's one way. The other way, if I use my history palette, I'll just go back to the beginning here. I will duplicate this layer. You can either drag it down to the plus down here and duplicate it, or you can hit Command J, or if you're on a PC, Control J, and that'll duplicate it. Once you have it duplicated, what I would do, I would turn the top layer off and then make sure the bottom layer is the one I want to soften up. And I would go to filter and go down to your blur or blur gallery. Yeah, I think just blur is fine. Gaussian blur usually seems to do the ticket. And just keeping that in mind, yeah, you can see it's already pretty blurry. Let's take it back. Maybe about there. So about 2.8. So we're blurring the whole thing, okay? But now we're going to turn the layer above it on, which is going to cover that up. Right? So now it's sharp again. Let me zoom in a little so you can see that. So now it's sharp again. Whereas if I turn it off, see that house, it's a little softer. But everything's soft, and you don't want that. So what you do is you go down here, and this little tool, this icon with the little dark circle in the middle, is a mask. So you click that, it'll add a mask here. By default, it'll just come up white, so it's not affecting anything. So black erases and white reveals. So if you move your foreground color to black and bring your brush size down and just start painting in here, I'm just going to make it 100%. It's just going to start bringing it down. Something's going wrong here. I'm not getting it through. Am I? Let's see. No, it's not. Black brush. Brush.
You're at 30%.
Yeah, thanks.
There you go. You're welcome.
I hit
I
zero.
do that all the time.
Yeah, I hit zero, but it didn't take, and I didn't bother looking up there again. I just assumed that's where it was. All right, there we go. Thanks, Marty. And a nice thing about a mask rather than using erase is if you go too far, like say I want like that, you see now the eye's soft. I can turn around and change this to white and just get it back. And if I turn off this bottom layer, you can see, where I painted through. Obviously painted more than I thought I did there. So let's clean that up. There we go. So if you got any spillover, you can actually clean that up pretty easily if you turn off the layer below it and see what's transpiring. Well, your masks don't always have to be perfect. If they blend in nicely and you don't see anything that's bothering you, then this is just extra work that you don't need to do necessarily. There you go. Okay.
Yep.
All right. There's a lot of really good YouTube videos on Photoshop, Valerie, if you want to come up to speed on it.
Okay.
That'd be helpful. Yeah. Just I can
What
see-
version is this one?
This is 2022, the current version.
Okay.
If you subscribe to the Adobe CC, the photography one, which is Lightroom and Photoshop, you get updates constantly, throughout the year. So it keeps you up to date. I think it's $9.95 a month. They try selling you the higher one, but that comes with a big storage. You can just look around and find the one that has smaller storage, but it should be $9.95 a month. Plus tax, I think it's like 10 and change,
Mhm.
which is a pretty good deal because you used to have to upgrade every year for about $500.
Yeah, that was the days that I had it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
Yeah.
that you can do it monthly now, so that's
Yeah, everything's online
good to
now.
know.
You just you just download it and you're good to go. Yeah, this is the Creative Cloud here, and basically what happens is you can download any of these apps you want to try or what have you, but and then here's your updates. So I'm updated recently on Photoshop. I think Lightroom must have updated before. And then here's the photo subscription app. So you have Lightroom and Photoshop and Lightroom Classic, which gives you a little more control. And then you also have these for your iPad or iPhone come included as well. And then, of course, they've got stock photos if you want to get into that. And then there's Bridge if you don't like using Lightroom, to manage your photographs and so forth. So that's how that works. All right. So that's how that works. Righty. Just hide this. The next one.
Ooh.
Nice colors.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some early rain last week, and this is a little garden, and it's close to downtown Calgary, and it's called Reader Rock. It's a beautiful little spot, and it's all kind of manicured gardens and stuff. Well, not manicured, but cared for gardens. So this was just a nice effect on the flower with the raindrops. So
Mhm.
I took this with a macro 105 macro lens. So
Mm.
Very nice.
thanks.
Yeah, I don't think I'd do anything to this except, I don't know, maybe tone this down just a bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I never see these things until you actually talk about them. So
Well, you
Hard to
just-
see them on your work.
Yeah, it is. I walk away and days later I go, how did I miss that? Yeah, it's you get really into tunnel vision.
it's
Yeah,
pretty neon, isn't it? That part, isn't it? It's,
yeah,
Those
Yeah,
colors are just luscious.
yeah, they are. They are really nice. Yeah. So, I mean, you could just take the hue and the luminous down a hair on that and that'd be fine.
yeah.
All right. I guess we're using you as a tutorial today. Now, if you
I guess
drag-
you need some work.
Yeah. All right. So you can either do it with a layer or you can do it in Camera Raw. And since we haven't used Camera Raw yet, let's go filter. We'll go down to Camera Raw. Okay. Now, Camera Raw, you've got, it's basically like Lightroom, Valerie. You've got all these different controls. You can do it globally, which would be over the whole image, or you could mask out certain areas like you do with layers and just work on those. So if we just do globally, if we just take the luminance down on the green, it's going to do it everywhere. I don't know if that's a bad thing because I
Oh,
don't
Ah,
like it so much. Yeah. All right. If we want to work just on this, we're going to go up here to the mask tool. And I'm going to use a brush. And I'm going to turn auto mask on. And what it does is this, that center target's going to be what it's targeting for the auto. So if I keep that center target in the green, even though the feather's out over the edge into the purple, it's just going to mask the area I want it to.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like the color that it turned. It even has like almost a little blue purple in it.
Yeah. Oh, that's because my mask is green from the last session. Let's make it red and bright so we know what it looks like. There's the mask. So I'm gonna say either I had a preset that was already there or something wasn't gelling here.
There you go.
Then if you want to make it a little smaller, just to get in there.
I was wondering how you did that. That's pretty cool.
So sorry. Okay, so there we go. All right, so now you've got all these things used, but just in this area, and this area will stay red like the mask until you do something about it. So I could just take a little white out of there, I suppose. You know, that would take it down a bit. So it's kind of like messing with the luminance.
Yeah.
You could take the highlight down a little. Yeah, just those two things might be enough.
Yeah. Now, is that bottom part too bright now?
Yeah, I think it is. Now let's see if we can catch that with the same one. And I'm gonna lower my opacity on my brush a bit. I'm gonna take the flow down. Yeah, maybe somewhere around 30%. Just kind of see what happens here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. That's it.
There you go. Now, if I turn auto mask off, let's just see what happens here. Let's spill a little bit. And I'll make it a little smaller and get up in here. Yeah, so if you want to see what this is doing, if you just hover over the mask, there's a little eyeball, you can turn this on and off. Now, show you
What about taking the sharpness down off of that green
Off of
leaf at
this?
the top? Yeah,
Oh yeah, we can do
I
that.
think it's just a tad
A bit too sharp.
too sharp
Mhm.
now that you darkened it. I
Yeah.
think when you darkened it, it brought out the lines, and now my eye wants to go there away from the flower.
Agreed, good call. Now, since this is already soft, we could probably get away with just taking it down on the same mask. We don't really need to worry about this going soft. So I would do a couple things here. I would take clarity down. Yeah, that might be enough.
Yeah, there you go.
And then you could play with sharpness in addition to that and see if it's worth it. Yeah, maybe just a little bit. But yeah, I think clarity is the biggest.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. And I think I was painting with low flow. So let's increase the flow here a little bit and just kind of come in here and really make sure we got this.
There you go.
There it is. Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
So we hit that.
nice.
Yeah. Go right
Kind
history.
of matches the other greens too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your before. That's your after.
Well, I don't remember seeing that as luminous as that.
So now your eyes here and up here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just where you want it.
Good.
Okay. So let's move on to the next one. What's that doing? Oh, it must have the same key on my cursor as I do on my hide Photoshop. That's not good. I'll fix that later. All right. So,
Okay, so so this was in this same area, same level garden, same rain shower or prior to it. And these are colored poppies. And what I did here was I merged 2 or 3 images together. I can't remember now. Maybe 4, maybe 3 or 4 images in Photoshop and just blended them together. And yeah, this is, I've decided to print this one on metal. So,
mhm. And
Very
this is a focus stacking number of images, or what were
it
the 3 or
was,
4
yeah,
images?
just different images. And then I brought them into Photoshop as layers. And then I just merged them on top of each other.
Mhm. Okay, and that's for focus.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, I mentioned this because you had asked me if this
Yeah.
would look good on metal, that, and it looks like you brought this down a little bit.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a little hotter before. I would get some detail in there, and I don't think there's any that you can pull in by pulling the highlights down, so you're gonna have to go into retouching.
Okay.
So what I would do is use a cloning brush and maybe even cut and paste. And let's just add a new layer here. Okay. Then we can control the opacity if we want.
Right.
I'm going to go to my cloning brush here and just start pulling little pieces in. Well, first, I think this needs a little bit of detail in here, so I'm going to steal it from here. So I'm gonna hold my Option key down and click in the middle of that, and then I'm going to come over to here and click so that it's in the middle. And then I'm just going to start painting it in. Let's see, where am I? 50%. I'm going to just go just kind of see what happens here. Let's see, click. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's a lot. So maybe what I would do is take this opacity down about, somewhere in there. Okay. Just to add it. And then the next thing I would do is maybe just grab a couple of these guys. Well, here's a group of them here. So let's just click here and maybe we'll drag over here and start bringing those in. You don't want it to look too much like the same. So you gotta just grab from different spots there and kind of just see what happens and just grab as you go. And I don't know, maybe you can. Let's do something else here now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back down to my background image, and I'm just going to quickly lasso this guy here. Okay, so I'm going to copy that and paste it. And I'm going to take my move tool and just bring it over here. Okay, then with transform, so under edit transform, Apple T. I'm going to just bring it around, and then I'm going to make it smaller. Yeah, let's try that. Now I can move it around a little bit. And I'm going to take this opacity down quite a bit. Somewhere in there. Now I'm seeing it might interfere a little bit. So yeah, maybe somewhere like that. Now I got a little too much there. So again, if I just add a mask, get my brush, make sure it's black, I could just go get rid of that. There you go.
Gotcha.
Now, if you don't like it there, go back to your move tool, which is up here, and move it around. Usually I'll keep it out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. You know, so maybe there, maybe there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there will work, and then maybe you can just clone this one in again. So we'll go back to this layer and this, and maybe just put a little something over here. There we go.
Good. Yep.
Fill it up. So
That's
you
definitely.
can also
Andy,
try
are you
to-
using a pressure pen that you have to keep working it rather than just a click?
I'm sorry.
Are
Go
you
ahead.
using a pressure pen that you're keep
No.
pushing? I see you, everything's set at 100%. That's why I was wondering.
No, it's because I'm just cloning different areas. And I've already got my opacity down to 34%.
Oh, okay, I didn't see
Later.
that.
Yeah.
Okay,
See if I brought it back up to,
yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
You know,
That made a huge difference, Sandy. Yeah.
yes.
yeah. I was
really
looking at
did.
the top of the screen where the opacity and flow was.
Yeah. So that would be
Okay,
100%, and that's where we are now.
got you now.
Okay. Yeah, I do have a tablet. I just haven't been using it because I just don't know how many people have them. I figured, no, I'll just try and keep it to a mouse for now. But yeah, pressure sensitivity would be the way to go if you're really going to tweak it, because the harder you push, the more detail you get, and more opacity as well.
I was going to ask you, what do you guys think about that little blue part at the top of right there? Yeah. Is that, what do you think about that? So does that work?
That's a good question.
I would probably finish it off with a real thin line. And then I
Okay.
would get rid of this one up here. You got a couple of things just
Yeah,
kind of looking through there. Yeah, but I would, just kind of get in there. Maybe we'll just put a new layer in case we want to play with it. I'm going to get a really teeny brush. I don't know, like about a 8 pixel brush. Hello. And then I'm going to hold down my option key and just pick that color. And then I'm just going to paint it in. Okay. Something like that. And then I'm going to take it and just again, just bring down the opacity a little bit. And I would probably go to lighten or something like that. Lighten or screen. Let's see if screen works. And then we'll bump it up a bit. And then what I would do is blur it slightly because it just looks too sharp. So we get our blur and now that it's blurred, we're probably going to need to bring the opacity back up. There you go.
Okay.
If you want to make it a little more believable, you can pick that
Mhm.
hotter part and then just paint another little line there too.
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead. There was a question? No? Okay. Yeah, so you could, you could just zoom in there and of course that needs a little cleaning up, but
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So then you just go back to your brush and get that really light part. Maybe just, I'm going to do another layer just so I can control it if I want. And then might take a bit of blurring on that too. So there we go. And maybe you might want to shape it so you could just put your mask in there and back to your brush. Maybe. Yeah, thin it or break it. I'm gonna undo that. Maybe we'll just thin it down a little bit. If you want to be really critical, you could do this with line art and actually make an arc so it's a little more precise than how I'm painting by hand.
Right.
Yeah, that's another option.
Yeah.
And then,
Good.
you may want to just, let's see, just switch here. Yeah, maybe we just take both of these. Just take the opacity down a little. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Something like that.
Yep.
So that's 100% just to
There you go.
see what
Yeah.
you're going to see with the naked eye close, and then just get rid of those and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, thanks, Alan.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. Guess the rain worked out for you. Huh?
Those are great.
Like to record this. I'm going to deny that. Okay. Let's go to done. Oh, you're doing Jeep ads now.
Yeah, this is a Jeep trip we took in Ouray, Colorado. A buddy of mine
Hmm.
has a Jeep and does cross-country Jeep and stuff, and he invited us out. So this was back in about, I don't know, 2012, 14, something like that.
This is an Ouray.
yeah, outside of Ouray.
Yeah, that's beautiful there.
This is one of the trails going in. We're going into the back country to look for old mines and old ghost towns.
Mhm.
He was in there all day and only went 30 miles.
Yeah. Yep, gotta take it slow.
Yep.
I see over here just this old
Retaining wall, sort of.
area there. Interesting.
Trying to stop it from washing out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I like the colors. I like the warm rocks and the blue Jeep.
Thanks. I worked on the trees in the back of the evergreens behind it were really bright. So I
Yeah.
darkened them down,
Yeah.
brought that down to what I thought was a little better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting a little gray. Did you try changing your color temperature while you do it?
That I didn't do it.
Yeah, try that. Add some yellow
Okay.
and green, and I think that'll get rid of that grayness.
All right.
Yeah, so like, let's see if the next one's got, nah, we'll do it on this one. What the heck? So, yeah, I got a camera raw. And well, I guess we can just take a brush and go into a couple areas here. Let's just turn on auto mask, and I'm just gonna hit like here. Stick this flow all the way up. Okay. Yeah. We'll just do a couple areas here just to kind of show you what's going on. So on your color temperature, you just want to warm it up a little bit. And then normally I would go toward magenta, but in this case, since it's green, you want to tint it toward the green. You just pull it toward the green. I mean, you can get real green there. Yeah, just a little bit like that. And then you could, offset it with a little less highlight, or maybe even a little less white. There you go. Add a little more yellow. It's a balance between darkening it and getting muddy, or brightening it and getting saturated.
Okay,
Yeah, you just go back and forth till you get it where you want it.
okay.
Yeah, so that's, yeah, be enough to get you going. And I would probably play with white more than highlight, if you can. Let's just zero out the highlight. Just see, yeah, there's your whites. See, when you go down too much, it gets real muddy.
Yeah,
So somewhere right about there would be good. And sometimes black affects it. You know, you can see a little lightening of the black in there if there's not too much shadow detail, which usually the highlights don't have much. You know, next to them if it's spilling over or something. But yeah, just play with the color temperature and that'll do it.
okay.
And you can also play with saturation. Yeah, that's probably about where it started. And, you know, you can get garish and go all the way up, but you know, just maybe just a little, like 3 or 4 might be enough to kick it up. So those 3 areas should get you where you want.
Okay,
All right.
good.
All right.
Thank you.
Don, this is Maureen. Do you remember what f-stop you use? That is just so crisp and clear.
You know, that was, I know, I'm pretty sure it was my D90, and it was probably with a 35 to like 55 or something like that. So it was a kit lens is what it was. So it
It's
it
just
wasn't
so
a
sharp,
fast lens.
really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The colors are just extra. It does look like a Jeep ad. I'd buy that Jeep. Great.
Yeah.
And they've got that
that's
speckle
probably
of
pull a little
gold.
bit of that tree out of there so that you see all the wheels and stuff. But yeah, they trim this out a bit. Yeah, you're pretty close there. Yeah,
Really lovely.
more detail in there and it'd be good to go. Okay.
And this is looking down on the way down into the valley, but this is, he's up higher looking down on this, obviously. This is an old mine here.
It's pretty good size.
Mm-hmm.
What are those vats, Don?
That's how they mine the ore and stuff. They run I think it was silver through that, I believe. And I'm not up on the mining process. The mine was above it, and it was part of the processing of the ore in the vats.
Probably some acid
Yeah.
Could have been, yeah.
separate.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Turn off the ring along. There we go. Yeah. I don't know. I'd do much to this. Maybe pull down some of these highlights in here
Okay.
and over here on this one roof. Maybe a little bit here on that. I don't know if it's a platform or part of a roof that came down, but yeah. Might be enough to do it. I think, well, you use Neo, right?
Yes.
I think Neo would bring this up quite a bit, at least in your details and stuff. So we're gonna go to edit here. Where are you? Oops, it looks like it didn't go. Let's ignore that. Well, that's not good. Huh. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let me just grab it from. This is the second one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can drag and drop it, or it's giving me a hard time. There we go. Let's see if we can just get rid of this. Go away. All right, I'll just stick it over there. Okay, so we'll go to edit. And I'm just going to try enhance first and see what we get here. Take this down here. Don't know that that's adding that much to it, so we're going to leave that alone. I would probably do a couple of things. I would try smart contrast in the develop mode. Maybe even go negative a little bit because it's pretty snappy. See how it's taking some of that blown out area down a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so here's the before and after, just flattening it out a bit.
Mhm.
And then I would also super contrast. If you take the highlight contrast down a bit, that'll help quite a bit too. There you go. And then take the balance down a little bit. I think just those two things would help out quite a bit, you know. So that's the
Yeah,
before
okay.
and that's the after. So now you got something to work with. And then from there you could get into shaping it up a little bit with structure and detail. Let's look at structure.
Okay. The whole thing or just those two areas?
I don't know. Let's see how it looks on everything and then we can figure it out. And I usually like to come in 100% to look at it and then just use the eyeball on the tool itself. So I don't know that it's hurting anything really, just leaving it everywhere. So I don't think you need to mask it in. If you want to be more critical with it, then you can add a mask and just take a brush and just do the areas you want. Like maybe you want just this. Here to have some structure. Okay. Maybe a little out here. And then we could go back to the adjustment and see what it's doing. I usually tend to go overboard and then come back. Well, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, so there you go. And I guess you could add a little of this side of this house too. So we just go back to your mask and paint a little in here. Maybe a little here. Okay. Let's just look around and see what else might need it. Yeah, I guess that's about it.
Have you tried that AI mask on here?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, it's
I don't know if
pretty
it'll work as well on here because it might be man-made structure. Yeah, let's do details and we'll try the AI masking on this one. So we'll go to masking. Mask AI, which is Alan's. It's got this kind of cool little thing that'll follow your cursor around while it's making it. If you want to entertain yourself while it's calculating. Yeah, let's see what it comes up with. All right, so let's get the flora. All right. Interesting.
Interesting.
Let's see. Architecture, not so
Yeah.
much. Let's see, natural ground. Yeah. I mean, it's a good starting point.
yeah.
Yeah. Man-made ground. Yeah, there you go, roads. So didn't do a bad job of that. But let's say we wanted to just take this natural ground, maybe and give it a little more detail. So we'll go back to adjustments and maybe we can take medium detail here. And small detail. Yeah, there we go. So that's before, that's after. Yeah. Now, let's see what it does with the floor, if we want to add that. So we go back to masking. Try. We're coming, there it is, all right. Let's see what happens now. So that's going to adjust the trees as well. So you can click and add them to it. So yeah, didn't seem to hurt it that much. Let's see how it works up here.
Maybe a little different.
Yeah, yeah,
Very subtle, but it's good.
yeah. I think that's enough to give it. So if we do an overall, that's where we were. Here's where we are.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, a lot more detail and getting rid of a lot of that washed out area.
Mhm.
And it doesn't seem to have caused any kind of ghosting or artifacts in it either.
Yeah, it really feathers off the masking, so you don't get those hard edges where you see your masks.
Yeah, very
Nice
nice.
job. I was working this weekend on some old portraits of some indigenous people from Irian Jaya, which is the western half of New Guinea. And being out in the sun and being, very, very dark, they had huge highlights, and trying to get some detail in the highlights, I couldn't do it in Photoshop, but I managed to do it here.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, I was able to get some detail and bring them down so they weren't just, blank
Hot spots.
holes, in their foreheads and highlight areas, on the tops of their shoulders and things like that. So it worked out really nicely. So, there's a lot of good uses for, I really like if we go back here, now, since this is all non-destructive till you hit OK, once you're done, if you go to edits, it'll give you everything you did. Okay. So if we go back to this develop area, you can see that I brought the smart contrast down. In a lot of cases, if there's not enough contrast, you just tick it up a little bit. But if there's too much, just take it down a bit. So that's what we did this time. And then we got details, structure. I usually like to do the developing and get the tones where I want them before I sharpen things up. So I do that firsthand. Well, it has the enhance on here, although we didn't do anything, but maybe we can just cheat a little enhance in there now. See if it changes anything. The only thing I don't like is it doesn't work like Photoshop, where when you open up something down here, everything else is still up. It takes the history back to that state. So if you're adjusting, you're kind of blindly adjusting. You're not adjusting with all these other changes you already did.
Oh,
And I don't like that.
oh,
I've written to them a couple of times to see if they give an option, because I guess some of their photographers like the fact that you can do that, but
oh.
I really don't. So
It's like you're going blind.
yeah, exactly. You can tweak a little here, and then you go back and
Okay.
click them all out again, see if it helped. So I don't know. Anyway, be nice to just have a little button here saying cumulative
Mhm.
or isolated or something like that. Anyway, then once you have it, you're good to go. If you're coming from Lightroom, then there's an accept button, and it'll take it back into Lightroom for you. Okay, let me just hide that and go on to the next one here. Valerie, do you work on a PC or a Mac?
I have a
PC.
PC, okay, good enough. Then I'll keep mentioning some of the other modifier keys. Pretty much anytime I say command on my Mac, it means control on the PC.
Right.
Yeah.
It took me a couple of years to get that figured out, but I'm finally getting it pretty well ingrained.
Mhm. Same with the option key. The option is the alt on the PC.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So this must have been their little smelting oven
Yep.
furnace. Wow. Must have been a real job bringing that in.
Oh, man.
I was just thinking, it's amazing how they can get that in there.
Everything come in on mules or wagons.
Yeah, wow. Yep.
Yeah, is this the regular sky, Don, or did you do?
Yes, no, this is all regular sky.
Nice.
Thank you.
Mhm.
He was in and out of rain
Mm,
that day.
You got really good detail on this one as well, all the way through.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah. Now,
Thank
this
you.
one would be a good candidate for enhance India. Let's see if we can try that out. So. Well, I got it. If you come up and you're blank, that's because you're in edits, not tools, okay? If that ever happens, just click on your tools. Okay, so here's enhance. Let's just see. Yeah. See how it just gives a lot more tone and depth to that foreground.
Mhm.
And then you've got a sky one as well. Let's just see if I would be very sparingly of the sky. Maybe
That is good.
a little bit. So that's your before and after. Yeah, it just gives it a lot more tonality and
Yeah, kind of crisp it up a little bit.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it plays with saturation and contrast at the same time, this accent here. So,
Okay.
all right.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice shot.
Thank you. And this is on down the trail further. This is a set of boilers, I think, that was laying down the platform and stuff, whatever they were sitting on, collapsed. And we just look where you can see the road in the background where we come up as it went down.
Yeah. Almost with all this debris going like this, it almost gives you a sense of motion, like these things are
Mhm.
on their way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It looks like a train crash.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. These things almost look like Civil War submarines or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Well, again, Neo would do the same thing on this one. I think it would
Okay.
give it a little snap. Yeah. All right. Very nice.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
This here is, I'm thinking it's California Pass. And I stitched, I think, 3, maybe 4 photos together
Mhm.
on this one. And the road to the left, that's closest to the bottom, that's the one we went out on.
Ah, okay.
We came in on the other one and went to the top and then went back down around.
So are these roads just dirt or do they have like a high?
Yeah, they're just one lane roads with 2-way traffic on it.
Mhm.
And whereas flatter like that, it's not so much of a problem, but on like on that first picture, if somebody comes around the bend, somebody's got to back up or there
Yeah.
were several times he crawled up the side of the embankment to give just enough room for the guy to get around on the other side.
Ah, yes.
And there was a couple of turns we've been on. I was on that when he went around, eased around it, why the front tire was half the front tire was hanging over the edge.
Ooh.
And it was pretty hairy.
You definitely need 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't look that rough, but then again.
Well, right here, this is
Yeah.
smooth. I
Yeah.
got other pictures that I can bring that I mean, we was crawling through a rock or boulder field. We was strapped in and just bouncing all around inside.
Gotcha. I've tried roads like these with my RV and thinking, well, the clearance is okay. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I get into a boulder field and I gotta figure out how to turn around.
Yeah.
Not fun. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm leaving those to the 4-wheel drive now. Okay.
It's
thanks
got
for
very
giving
nice
it that.
color in it.
Yeah, the color's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's interesting here. It almost looks like sawdust or something. Pretty neat. All righty. Let's go down to Jim Bowman.
Okay, this is a continuation of last week's um, Upper Peninsula, Michigan,
Ah, okay.
called the UP. And this is the kind of a one of many waterfalls that empty into the lake, which is called, well, the small lake is called Picture Rock Lake.
Mhm.
And so this one was just an interesting picture. I had to straighten it a little bit, but otherwise it was good.
Yeah.
Got really good softness to the water there. Just
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I think I was shooting at about a 30th,
Mhm.
maybe more. I don't remember.
Yeah, it works out nice. Is that the full frame?
Nearly the full frame. There's a little bit off the top and a little off the bottom, but more or
Yeah.
less, yeah.
I'm thinking this line here, either down or up, might be nice if you got a little more to move it. So
Mm,
it's not so close to center.
yeah.
I wouldn't want to lose this. This I could probably lose a little bit, maybe.
Well, that could, yeah, although you need it to go up, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's another view I think that I might have that
Have more.
would be slightly better.
Mhm. Okay.
Oh,
Neat.
wow.
Yeah, so here's early in the morning, there's still dew on his wings. So many times, you could just, when you get out early in the morning, you can find these dragonflies out there, and
Mhm.
they're just sleeping,
Hmm.
but frozen. And then
Oh,
when the sun comes out, they go back and fly away.
hmm.
That's gorgeous.
I've never seen anything like that. Looks like
Yeah.
lace.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Or glass beading or something.
Yeah, it's black.
And look at it.
It's
It looks like
the
glass
frost.
balls across the top of his wing, little beads.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frost on his wings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow,
Hmm.
Very nice.
gorgeous.
Yep. Didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, this is again, I was talking about this. It has a special quality to the soil that turns, kind of these fluorescent colors.
Hmm.
Wow.
And there's different ones, but this one happens to be blue, but there's different colors. That's why they call it picture rocks, because the
Oh,
rocks have pictures to them. They all have a different color.
Wow.
gorgeous.
It almost looks like it's flowing.
Yeah, it really does,
Mhm.
like lava maybe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Well, I'm
pretty.
sure it was at one time.
Yeah. Real nice.
And then here's another, again, kind of this, the water leaches out from the rock. And so when it leaches, it runs down and it forms all these different colors.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, love the way the light's kissing across it, bringing out all the
Yeah.
texture and detail too.
Mhm.
Very nice. Yeah, you could spend some time up there, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a
Okay.
kind of just a shot of, just to show you how big the rocks are, you know?
Yeah.
And the lake is kind of set, you know, at the bottom of a cliff of maybe 20 feet, 30 feet.
Mhm.
It almost looks like a drawing with, on the rock itself.
Yeah, like it's unreal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah, there was an area in Chicago we used to go to called Starved Rock, and along the, I think it was the Ottawa River, there were areas like this, but they're only about 10 or 15 feet tall. But
Yeah.
yeah, they had some neat formations too, but nothing like this. You didn't get the mineral deposits and the stains like this.
yeah, it almost looks like it's another city.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And right in the middle looks like a house or something.
Mhm.
right. Yeah,
yeah.
pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So this is yet another kind of, it shows you the scale, because those trees are like 20, 25 feet high.
Mhm.
So are you in a boat here, Jim?
Yes, I'm in a boat.
So what's the nearest city to this place?
Well, it's out in the middle of nowhere, to be honest, but oh, I can't think of it right now, but it's just a small town anyway. But it's from the bridge is probably south. Let's see here. You go south about maybe 75 to 100 miles from the bridge.
So the bridge by the Mackinac Straits.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Alan, you know what this reminds me of a little bit is that Johnston Lake up near Jasper.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's got this similar.
Yeah, there's
Hmm.
some
I like
similarity.
the moody tones you used on this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
In the
nice.
evening. Is this in the evening, I guess? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, real nice. Well, nice group. Thanks.
Kind
Kind of.
So there was one more just to
Is there
show
one more?
you. I think there was just one more to show you. It wasn't much as just to show and tell about how this.
Yeah, let me check it out. It's real quick here. I just have 5 here, I think. Let me just once over. Yeah, we've seen. Yep, I think that's all that came through, Jim. You want to upload it?
No, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
That's all right.
All right. Yeah, we got them all. All righty. Let's go to Jim Murphy. Yep.
It's just also sort of a continuation from last week, some more aerial There's another aerial shot, and that is Mount Rainier in the background, and then there's some, I don't know the name of this ridge in the foreground.
Hmm.
So I guess, I don't know, I played with this, and then I just changed, I lightened Mount Rainier a little bit because I thought it was too dark. So I don't know what you think about composition and, you know,
That's
I
great.
don't know. I'm open to comments.
Anybody?
Everything's too centered for me,
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that.
either right or left.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that ridge in the front, it looks, to me, it looks like a bunch of ice cream or something melting. I don't know if it adds anything, or maybe it's too light. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, one thought would be to darken it and then lighten Mount Rainier in the back
Mhm.
more.
Yeah, and maybe
Yeah.
even the sky around Rainier a little lighter.
Okay.
Yeah.
DeBry, my eye keeps getting stuck on the ice cream in the
Yeah.
foreground.
Exactly. Yeah, if you want to make this a hero, well, the first thing I do is I clone out this cloud here because it just kind of takes off this nice edge.
Mm.
And then I would darken this down and work on it a bit. Let's see
Okay.
what we can come up with. You have Neo or not?
I do.
Okay, so we'll go to Neo here. Let's just see. I haven't worked. Yeah, that just kind of brings things up a little bit for now.
Too much sky too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think so. I haven't tried their crop tool, but let's see how that works. No, we don't want to keep it. Let's keep it free. Yeah, maybe we can. Oh, maybe we can get rid of some of the center stuff here too. Kind of come over a little bit. Let's try that. Okay. And then let's go to develop here and let's just see what the smart contrast is going to buy us. I think it's making the whites too blown out.
Mhm.
So I may just leave that alone and see if we bring the highlights down a little bit. And
Getting muddy.
it's getting muddy, but I want to go to blacks and whites now. Kind of bring the whites back up just a hair. Take the blacks down. There we go. And we still got a little way we can go on the blacks till they bottom out. Yeah, somewhere about there. That may just work out.
Can you mask a Neo or not?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing too is if I close this and then open it again, I'm basically starting from scratch. So now if I just want to mask, let's see what AI does. Curious, but probably. Yeah, mountains. Not quite. Okay. Sky. All right. Well, it keeps the sky out. Okay. Water. Let's see what it thinks water is. Okay. Yeah, I don't think, other than the sky, I don't think much is useful there. I'm just going to take a brush and quickly just hit this area here. Doesn't have auto masking, but it does feather off pretty nicely. So I have asked for that, but I haven't heard much back. Their answer was this AI, but I think it needs some more work before it hits prime time. All right, so now that we have that, we can go to adjustments and just do this one separately, so we can take the exposure down a bit. And yeah, now we can put the contrast, highlights. Yeah, maybe we should for detail. Let's come back with a little bit of white. Yeah, I think that helps a bit.
Mhm.
Yeah, so here's where we've come so far. So I think we got a little more guts to it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm noticing that the sky's getting edged up a bit.
Hmm.
So if I go back to edits here, I would think maybe Enhance did that. Yeah, I think so. So if we go back to masking here and just did the sky. Okay, and then inverted it. Mask actions, invert. There we go. Okay, so now it's only doing the lower part. Now if we go all the way up, yeah, we got rid of most of that grain. Okay, good.
What would it look like if you just cropped that right out, you know, brought that crop right up from the bottom and took that foreground out and
Oh,
make
all
it
the way
look
up to here?
more- Yeah, just above that ridge, just to make it look like a kind of panorama type. And
Yes,
then,
good. Then I'd probably take a little sky out too.
I
Yeah,
just keep on seeing the crop line above that.
Me too.
Yeah, right to there. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, and then something like that. We could even go really,
Yeah.
I guess if it's by itself, we could get real wide here.
Yeah.
And kind of offset it.
There you go.
Yeah, let's try that.
Oh.
That's weird.
It was. Yeah, it was.
I guess I didn't hit crop. Sorry about that. So, yeah. Well, something like that. Crop. Nah, something's not working here.
What's going on?
I guess you get one crop at a time. I don't know. All right, so I guess we crop elsewhere. If it doesn't work.
That would have been really nice though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it calls for.
I
Personally.
agree.
Now I'm curious on the erase tool, how well it's going to deal with this edge here. Just as long as we're experimenting here, what the heck. So I'm going to go at about 200%. Yeah, I'm just going to take this area out, see what happens. Heck, do not like that.
Bones.
Nope, that doesn't work. So
It will
erase-
become part of the mountain.
yeah, so to restore that, you're gonna have to paint it back in again. Okay, close enough. And just hit restore. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna have to do that in cropping in Photoshop. Okay. So getting back to, let's see if there's anything else we want to do while we're still here. You guys liking where it's at, or?
Yeah, just yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like that's still there. Yeah, that is still there. All right, I know. We go to edit. erase, reset. There we go. Now it's gone. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. Let's look at structure. Again, let's get a 100%.
It's too much.
Yeah, it is. Maybe just a little bit. Yeah, just a dash, I think so now. All right. So let's export this to desktop. And now we can crop the way we like. Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where we're at now. And then we want to take that out. Let's see our tools in Photoshop work. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to clone it. So we'll go to our cloning tool, make it a little smaller, and just pick it up from here, destination here. There we go.
There.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So we could save that if we want. Yeah, we'll just close it up. All righty. So back to where we were. Yeah, I think we came a long way from there. Does that work for you, Jim?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good. Okay.
Oh, this was a little exercise I did. I've had this Aurora HDR software that I never used, but you can do single image HDR, which just expands the dynamic range of the photo. It was just a little exercise I did while having happy hour.
You should say after happy hour.
Well, it was after happy hour, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Most of it anyway.
And you got it, and it's straight. The picture's straight.
yeah. That's because I was leaning. It was straight.
Ah,
Yeah.
So not a picture you'd want to put on your wall, but it was just kind of, I wanted to try that Aurora HDR single image thing. And so that's what I was doing with that. I was hoping to get a little more kind of inner glow in the pink than I got, but I played with it a while.
Wonder about getting a little light along the far edge of the rim of the glass to define that area, right?
Yeah, you know, there was some really big spots back there, and I kind of removed those, but left a couple of those to try and imagine, I guess, the rest of the rim. That there were some, they were quite large, some of the reflections from back there.
Oh, okay.
And I did take them out, but I don't know.
Yeah, when you want to get at a precise edge like that, you got to go to paths, and
yeah.
let's just do a new one here and use the, where are you? Path tool up here. There it is. Well, it looks like an old quill. So basically I would click here and drag that way. I would click here and hold my shift key down. Whoops, how'd that happen? That's weird. Click, hold my shift key down, then pull these out to get a nice level one. And then I would probably just come over here and do something like that. Okay. Then we can get your tools. And all right, so once you have that path, you can take a brush. Let's just open a layer on top here. We'll go back to path. All right. Click on it, make it active. And you should be able to run a brush along it. I'm trying to remember how to do that, but let's see here. Pick a brush, make it. Maybe 12 pixels. Nah, probably more. Yeah. Something like that. Okay. Somewhere here we should be able to stroke the path. Here we go. So we're going to use a brush. You could use other things, lots of other things, by the way. And the trick is to set your brush up first. So now we know where it is. Let's get a color. We're gonna hold down the Option key and get that color there. Okay. And then we're gonna go back here. Stroke path, brush, everything's set up, ready to go. Boom, it's done. Go back to there. And there you go. So now that you've got it, you can kind of, take it down, blend it in a bit. Yeah, probably something like that, I guess.
Yeah, that works.
Just an amazing program, isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Yeah. And there you go.
Very nice.
So that's how that works. Okay. I'm gonna have to fix that hotkey. Okay.
So I spent a bunch of time this week. So I normally don't use speed lights, and I took a bunch of picture with speed lights this week, and I'm still trying to learn how to get the results I want, which I'm not. But anyway, you can't even probably tell this is a bird, but this is a bird taking a bath. And I shot it. I initially started with shooting it at the native, flash speed, which is 1/250th. And so I kind of got this one, the water looked kind of cool, but even though you can't, the bird's moving so much, you can't really tell it's a bird hardly. But I've been shooting, I started out shooting manually, but then I switched over to using auto ISO with TTL. If you go to the next one, Sandy, I don't know if you want, yeah. So this is kind of my worst case scenario. This is straight out of the camera using auto ISO with TTL. You can see because the eye is red on the squirrel, that the flash, went off. But I'm wondering, so I've got flash comp on the flash, 3 stops of compensation on the flash. And of course I've got, exposure compensation on the camera, but I haven't really got it dialed in yet. So would you go, like a +2 or +3 on the exposure compensation on the flash to get better results?
Yeah, I probably would. And then what time of day is this?
This is this is in the afternoon, but I'm in old growth forest and it's raining and it's overcast and it's just really dark. This is ISO, I think 8,000.
Okay, so the overall picture is about where you want it. it's not underexposed?
I think it's, I think it is underexposed.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, the next image is when I developed it, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how to,
Hmm.
I was able, I can salvage the image, but it's just, that doesn't, I don't know why the TTO isn't doing a better job, I guess.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I do like that.
That looks like it's like, how many stops underexposed?
I don't know. Let's find out. This is right out of the camera. Whoops.
Yeah, right out of the camera, nothing's done to this at all.
All right. So, so we go into basic here. Let's, I would guess somewhere around there. So yeah, about a stop.
About a stop, okay.
Yeah, we can go. a
So
stop.
I could probably just dial in exposure compensation to maybe one stop and
Yeah.
that'd probably
Stop.
solve,
Yeah, it's about
solve the problem.
1.05. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It
Push
could
it up
be-
to 2. Let's see what it looks like at 2.
That's 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe, well, there's 1 2/3.
Okay.
I'd say maybe 1 1/3 to 1.5.
After I shoot, then what I try and do is look on the back of the camera and look at the the image, but also that's deceptive, but look at the histogram.
Mhm.
Trying to
Is your-
get the histogram. The histogram's way too much to the left.
Yeah.
Is your flash on?
What was
the
your
camera?
shutter speed, Jim?
1,000th of a second.
Yeah, if you're pushing to the right, you're almost 3 stops.
Yeah,
But I think
that's
you're,
too that's overexposed.
far.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much so.
yeah. I mean, yeah, 1 2/3 I think is about as far as I would go, or 2.
Okay.
There's 2.
Maybe I'll start with. I'll start with maybe 1.5 plus 1.5 when I'm shooting in that kind of light.
No, you could go +2 and then just adjust accordingly. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, you can take your highlights down a little bit. Yeah, you get your detail there, and shadows are fine. Yeah.
Sandy, I have a question while you're here in Camera Raw.
Sure.
Every time I bring a photograph in here, it puts the details and the color noise up. And so I immediately go in there and take off the sharpening. And is there a way to have that not happen? So every time I go in, I have to pull that off.
Probably in your preferences. I must have said
You must have done yours because it's
Yeah,
just
I
so
must have
annoying
done.
every time I
Yeah.
have to go in there and take the sharpening off because it's too much.
Yeah, I would say it's somewhere in your the camera. I think has its own preference
Settings.
somewhere.
Okay, I'll poke around. Thanks.
Yeah, 'cause I don't think they're in regular Photoshop settings.
And I have another question. So, and I want to start taking more, with some of my photographs, making more notes and or writing things down. So in library, if you go down to metadata, there is a blank called comments. Is there any other place or is that the place to put that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I would probably put them there, or somewhere there's a comment in Photoshop that they just added too. Trying to remember where it is. I just saw a video on it a couple of weeks ago. But I think in the current, but that would mean you're coming into Photoshop all the time, which you probably don't do.
Right. I usually go, Lightroom's where I start.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'd say comments are somewhere in your metadata. You can certainly do that.
Right. Okay.
Just be careful when you export if you're sending them to someone else.
Yeah, because that goes with it.
Yeah, there's a way to filter that down in Lightroom when you do the export at the
I've
bottom.
seen, yeah, I know where that
At the
is.
metadata, yeah, you can trim it to just copyright and name.
Right. That's what I do. That's what when I send, that's my default when I send stuff
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's nobody's business what you've done.
Right.
Okay. So I guess we could go back and take a quick look at these. So I'm wondering, is there, I know some flashes will sync, even up to a couple thousandth of a second.
Mine will sync up to 8 thousandths of a second. I have high speed sync. So
Well,
this was just one of the first ones I shot where I wasn't using
Yeah.
high speed
And
sync.
I
I was using
started-
high speed sync on the squirrel.
Well, then I would start syncing around 2000 at least to if you got motion like this going on. Or
Okay.
even 4. And I think you'll be a lot happier with the results. You're not going to get these trails going on or anything else.
Okay.
Just gonna, snap that stuff and freeze it. It'll be a little more interesting. So yeah, I'd try that.
Okay.
And then see how your exposure time comes along in that. Because you're going to be opening up a lot anyway,
Right.
depending on how much light you've got.
How far away are you, Jim, when you're shooting these?
I've been experimenting this week anywhere from 10 feet to, like 100 feet.
And at 100 feet, you're still getting.
So what I can see at 100 feet is about all I can see is I can see the reflection of the flash in the eyeball. And
Okay.
yeah, it's minimally effective. It's supposed to be effective to 60 feet, but I've
Yeah.
shot
I
further.
would keep it 30 or under.
Yeah. Well, what I found between 12 and 20 feet is where it's most effective, I think.
Yeah, 20 is about the max. I think you might want to go on something, especially if you're trying to get it to be the primary light source where you're using that to freeze action. You might even try and get under 20 feet.
Right.
Mhm.
Nice work.
Yeah.
They've got a light magnifier that attaches to a speed light that I've got that reaches out about twice as far. You might
Oh,
think
yeah.
about that.
So
They're
I
not
was-
very expensive. They're only $20-$30.
I was going to make a snoot, which is just
Yeah.
helps to concentrate the light a little bit. I was going to get a big 6-inch strip of Velcro and just get 2 pieces of Velcro, make a snoot and try that to see if that would concentrate anything.
Yeah, the other one that I've got is it magnifies the light.
Right. Yeah, I use a Fresnel. I know what it is. It uses a Fresnel lens.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just put a little cone, maybe a black cone about 3 or 4 inches, and wrap it around so it just kind of shotguns the light in one narrow beam.
For longer distances.
Do you have a zooming head?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
But it only zooms to 200 millimeters, and I'm using a 600 millimeter
Right.
lens, so
Yeah.
that doesn't match what I'm doing exactly. Also, I noticed there's a negative when you line it up. If I'm not careful, it points down so that the intersection of the lens and the flash is probably like about 10 feet away, unless I pay attention to keep that thing pointed straight ahead for
Right.
longer distances.
Yeah.
So I'm just learning a lot of stuff about it. So maybe next week I'll have better pictures.
Thanks for sharing. I have a flash that I think I've used 3 times in my entire life. And they're so expensive and I never use it because I don't like the effect that it has on the picture.
I agree.
Normally, and your colors are good. Normally
Yeah.
it washes everything out. The
Yes.
colors look too artificial. And
Right.
so I don't use it, but you look like you've compensated for that. I like
don't
what
know.
you're
Well,
doing.
I have not figured it out yet, Maureen, but I'm trying to work on it.
Well, get busy. I want to know how to do this.
Well, the nice thing that you have, Jim, is instant feedback from the back of the camera, which is very helpful.
Right.
Yeah. So get your back screen tweaked to where it looks like what it does on the screen in your
Okay.
desktop.
Right.
you know, and maybe get in the shade somewhere and look at it. And you'll be a little more on the money than
Mhm.
if you got it bright for outdoors. And that'll help too. Okay, great. Let's
All
see.
right.
Up with-
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's see here. We've got a few more people, right? Maureen and Wendell. All right. Oh, that looks like fun.
Oh.
This was a sunflower bud,
Oh.
and I took it, cropped it pretty tight, and then I took it into Topaz and did, I think it was impression filter on it. Then I took it back into Photoshop and did that distort, spiralize.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I did
Yeah.
it twice on 2 different layers, and then I got this
Oh,
Mhm.
kind of different.
yeah.
I liked what the spiralize did to the leaves towards the center,
Mhm.
and how it pulled the yellow color kind of through them, and it really made them have a lot more movement. They had a bit of movement to begin with. And I went and tried to play with the hue to see if I could change the colors in the hue, but I didn't come up with anything I liked any better than just the green and the yellow.
Mhm. I think the green and the yellow with the hints of blue is very nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's something fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
very
Cool
nice.
shot.
Thank you.
Almost looks like a mutated Venus flytrap or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think because of the teeth, it looks like
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
leaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those were there. Of
Yeah.
course, they're enhanced
Yeah.
dramatically, but I didn't change the size of them or anything.
Yeah,
That's
but
just the
you
way they were.
wouldn't want to lean it up against this.
Might have you for lunch.
Yeah. Oh, neat.
Very nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'd say do some more of those.
And this is just a
Oh,
little
yeah.
Hummer in the backyard.
Yeah.
I loved all the pollen on his little beak there. I
Oh,
just couldn't
goodness, yeah.
believe he was loaded.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
It was just loaded.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, too bad the wing split his eye, but
Mm.
just how it did.
Yeah. Huh. That's fun. Yeah, you might want to consider a tighter crop on this.
Yeah, I could. I think I cropped it a little bit, obviously,
Mhm.
but I could. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Something more horizontal.
It could be horizontal, yeah. You could do that.
Because he's pretty horizontal.
Yeah. Maybe put him off a little bit. Yeah. Something like that.
I like it.
And then just clone that out.
Yeah, it's a little spider web the sun
Mhm.
caught.
There you go.
Thanks.
Put a little catch light in his eye and you'll be good to go. Yeah, you could steal it from this one.
Yeah. I have done that.
Haven't we all?
Yeah.
This thing just doesn't want to go away, does it? Nope.
Very persistent.
Down. All right.
Same guy with the pollen on his little beak, and I thought it was cute with the arch of the flower over him.
Mhm.
Kind of framed him.
Yeah. I would blow this out, just grab some blue and
Mhm. I wondered about that because it seemed distracting. I was trying to remember what it was, and I think it could be the sunflower.
I was gonna say it looks like a sunflower.
Yeah, I think it could be the sunflower.
Yeah, just blow that out. Yeah. I like the way this frames them.
I did crop that a bit.
Yeah, good. Wonder if you could just shoot a little more vibrance into it.
I did not do that.
Hmm.
I did not play with the color. I just cropped it and ran it through AI. That was it.
Okay. Yeah, well, let's go to camera raw so we can do it on each color individually. Let's get rid of detail here. Basics. All right, so where did they put it?
Color mixer, I think. Yeah, try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so we'll do saturation. See what the reds and the magentas do. It's too much. Yeah, a little bit of that, and maybe a little bit of that. And see what
Yeah,
the
plays
blue-
against the blue, nice.
just a teeny bit of blue. I don't know if purple's gonna, nah, purple's not doing anything. Okay, and then you might want to go to luminance and see if maybe just brightening these up a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
Yeah, so,
Nice.
so yeah, there's your before and after. And I suppose you could bring up some of the oranges and yellows from on him if you wanted to, and you can just mask him off and just do the warms on that if you want.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we could just go up here and brush, auto mask. Maybe just grab them like this area. Okay. All right. Let's could even just play around with color temperature, I suppose. Yeah. Just warm them up. Take a little pink.
Mhm.
There you go. Just bring up the saturation to 10. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that brought him to life a little more.
Yep. Maybe. Bring up the whites a little. There we go. Yeah,
Nice. Thank you.
sure. Okay.
And just the sunflower.
Mhm.
And I think I took that into topaz as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I like the way it's a little dark. Makes it a
Yeah,
little moody.
I darkened it because the petals on the bottom
Mhm.
were a little too light.
Mhm.
And then the darkness in the center is actually a shadow.
Yeah.
I have corn growing up above it,
Uh,
so it's shadowing it.
just keep in mind you can move things. Whatever. There's a shadow you don't like and it's pliable.
I know, but when I'm taking the photograph, I don't pay enough attention sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do that, but on this case, I did not.
Yeah. Yeah. Just keep
I have
in-
more flowers coming, so.
Yeah. 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 Took me a while to get that, but you can manipulate your environment as long as you're not destructive. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, I want to know where we're going overtime today.
Okay.
Where's that?
Well, all of these pictures are taken in eastern Nebraska. Since our last get together, we took about a week trip back to Lincoln and some little towns around there. And this was in a sunken garden in Lincoln. And it was a bright clear blue sky day. And I took this of a roof of a gazebo. And I was amazed by the intricate ironwork that they've done, the wrought iron on this roof.
I'll say.
And, but that big blue circle in the middle kind of overshadowed everything. So what it is, I just used the Photoshop sky replacement with a sunset, and that gave it almost a gemstone look in the
Mhm.
center there.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. So that simple switch of skies, I think, made it a whole lot more interesting.
There's a real perspective trick
Yeah.
going on here. With
Yeah,
this
yeah.
out, this in, yeah, kind of flips back and forth.
Yeah, I was wondering, since the color on that steel rim up there doesn't match the sky, if I could tint it or something, but that
Push
looked
it,
like
yeah.
the kind of thing that might get messier than it is now, so.
Yeah, it'd be pretty easy to do, especially with that auto mask. Yeah.
Oh,
You could even-
okay.
Yeah, you could even do it with maybe selective color. I don't know.
Yeah, like a Lightroom to use the auto mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to camera and just click on it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
maybe. Yeah. In fact, you could make your brush almost that big. Well, nah. It's gonna say
Yeah,
you can make it pretty big though, and then just click there and it'll come up to however big your brush is.
Mm,
So you can click
yeah.
2-3 times and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe to tone these down a little bit here.
Oh, yeah,
Just
yeah,
so they don't compete with the wrought iron.
yeah, kind of let the center float a little
Mhm.
more.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Anyway,
they pretty well disappear here.
Yeah,
Nice. It's beautiful work.
and this next one, it was an old stone barn up there in southeastern Nebraska. And I like these red painted doors. And I got this picture, and when I looked at it, that series of square or rectangular stone between the doors looks like a balance arm on a scale or something. And then it's sitting on the pivot above the arched door,
Now the
and
keystone. Yeah.
kind of holding everything up there, upper shade. And so that was more of a just seeing something that wasn't there. And the balance deal, I kind of like this picture for that, balancing the two areas of red.
Yeah, looks like they got a Dutch door here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. I hadn't noticed that, but yeah, they got separate sets of hinges on it. And you can see the separation there now.
Yeah. I caught the hinges first and then why would they do that? And then I
Yeah,
said, maybe they split
Yeah.
the door and then you had to really look.
yeah. And I didn't do too much. I boosted the texture a little bit in
Mhm.
Photoshop and
Yeah.
made it a little more obvious. But anyway, it was just kind of a playful image, something I saw.
Mhm. Now, in Lightroom, you could probably take that perspective tool and straighten this out pretty quick.
Oh, oh yeah,
If you wanted to make it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in the camera or not. I
Well,
never looked for it.
actually, I did do a little
it is.
skewing on the bottom
Uh-huh.
in Photoshop.
Yeah. I don't know that it's here or not. Geometry, maybe, huh?
Yeah, yeah, let's see.
Manual transformations. No, it doesn't have the one I was looking for. There's one in Lightroom where you just take a line and click and drag it.
Yeah, look in the tools and see if it's in there in raw. Because I think it is.
I don't see tools. Oh, you mean?
Oh, yeah, those tools there, yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought in that new enhancement it was in there, but maybe not.
yeah,
No, I guess,
yeah.
let's see here, basic curves, details, price sharpening, optics, no, that's
Yeah.
lens. And
Uh,
yeah, you think it'd be in geometry.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I used on perspective, of tall buildings and stuff, but
Mhm.
in this case, I had it in Photoshop, so I just used that skew tool to straighten the bottom.
Right.
Out. But I did not move that stone beam up there. That was the way
Yeah,
it
it'd be
was.
kind of tough to do with skew.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, you could do it in a couple moves, but let's see.
Yeah.
It's a little more advanced. Let's
yeah.
double click it, make it a layer. And then right click and do skew. I'm just gonna hold the shift key down and see if I can pull. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Pull one side down. And then I just wonder. It's almost like a, nah, I wouldn't do that one. I'd probably do this one here. To, yeah, get that a little straighter
yeah,
and then bring it up just there. And then you gotta compensate the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Then you gotta come back, compensate for the compensation.
yeah,
Around and around you go.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
yeah. I quit when I got the bottom level with the
yeah,
bottom.
yeah. Then you gotta come back and deal with the bottom. Yeah, it'd be a lot easier in Lightroom.
I kind of like the slope on that row of blocks anyway. It
Yeah,
looked more like a balance. It wasn't quite balanced.
right. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like this is going along with the balance. It's all
Yeah,
down to the right.
yeah.
Very cool.
Okay. This next one was at the Homestead Historic Area. It's a National Historic Park that all the displays in the visitor center are about the Homestead Act and the impact around the country. And this was a recreation of an old homesteader's log cabin. And it's out there in the prairie and got some of their implements sitting around. And I like the S curve of the sidewalk going down there. I
Mhm.
figured the landscape architect intentionally did that. Provide a little interest. The building, the little cabin, looks like it's pasted on this background. But I went back and looked at the original and it looks about the same way. It's just such a different texture and color than the background. It just doesn't blend in well against it. But anyway, I just kind of like the scene there. And this was done in the first Photoshop with oil paint.
Mhm.
And then I used a sky replacement. And then in Topaz used the hummingbird wings preset or look
Mhm.
to give it a little more of a crisp detail, I guess. That's what it does. It's not a major change to it, but I like the effect it did give.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's also in southeast Nebraska near the town of Beatrice.
Really gives it a nice homey look.
Yeah, well, that was inside that cabin. They said up to 12 kids might have lived in that. And
No wonder they stayed out in the field.
Well, it did have a second floor, but
Yeah.
I could imagine them side by side up there because they had to have room in the ground floor for the stove and table, dining table and stuff. And can't have eaten meals all at the same time. But anyway,
Imagine in the winter, they got cabin fever pretty quick, you know, stuck in there.
yeah, I would
12
imagine.
kids, goodness.
Yeah, sort of keeping warm in close company.
Very cool. Okay. Wow.
This is the old stone barn that down on the right end of it was where the door picture was taken. But
Ah, okay.
this is near the little town of Philly, Nebraska, and it's a state park, I believe. It is it's not a privately owned building, but it is part of a historic area. But this one I used a Photoshop sky because I had just a plain blue sky and just put some clouds in it. And then I used the Topaz Dramatic HDR to give it a lot more texture in the stonework and on the shingles on the roof. So that I wish I'd taken one further back that had more of the landscape, but this one does show the detail of the barn pretty well.
Mhm.
Yeah. Lights hitting it just right. They pull up all that texture on the side.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
that's pretty nice.
I did have to go in and select the big door and lighten it up a little bit. It went too dark on me, but
Maybe a little detail in here. I don't know if there is any.
yeah, I hadn't noticed that. Yeah, I could check and see if something comes up there because the door came up pretty good once I
Yeah.
increased the exposure on it.
Mhm.
Then I had to they had a cable coming down the near corner of the building. I think it was from the lightning rods, which
Mhm.
when I went, you can barely see one of them to the left
Right.
end of the roof, but I think their cable came down the corner of the building there to ground.
Mhm.
And I'd take that out.
Mhm. Nice job.
Yeah, thank you.
I really like the way the grass
Yeah,
in front.
yeah, I think they call that grandma grass. It was everywhere in Nebraska, and, just in the fields growing naturally along the road sides.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like some sort of a grain.
Yeah, like a weed or something.
Yeah,
Nice.
this one was in Lincoln. There's an amazing automobile museum there called the Museum of American Speed. That's got all kinds of old race cars, like circle track, oval track race cars and dragsters and vaudeville speed record cars.
Mhm.
But one of the displays up in the toy car area was this thing of a front end of it. It might have been an old Checker taxi cab that they cut off and mounted on the wall. So anyway, I liked it, but I needed a little more treatment than the straight picture. So I used the Topaz expressionism, and that gave it a nice kind of a flowing feel to the chrome and the grill. And otherwise, I just had to do some cropping and straightening to get it in. But
Yeah, it
That's-
gives it a nice kind of liquid motion to it.
yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
but it wasn't too severe. So
Yeah, it's very subtle and I like that.
yeah, but
Nice.
I like how it brought all the chrome up in the bumper and stuff with the reflections.
yeah,
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, like
Nice.
Sandy said, just kind of a flowing
Mhm.
look to
But
it.
it kept all that color in there and probably made it even brighter,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
I
yes,
like
I think it
Mhm.
did. Didn't look back too closely at the original, but it didn't seem like any of that was as.
I like what it
pronounced.
did to the headlights too.
Oh, yeah.
Very
That is a
interesting.
nice job. The headlights. I wonder if
Anyway.
maybe clone these guys out.
Uh, Oh, yeah, I took
Looks like from the
some
ceiling
out
lights.
around that hood ornament. Yeah, could have taken it out because those I think were just ceiling lights that were
Yeah,
reflecting on it.
yeah.
Okay.
This grid in the ceilings
Yeah,
pretty much going away. I don't know if that bothers me so much, but these my eyes just keep
yeah,
around those.
Mm.
yeah.
Another thing that might be fun is just lighten up these amber lights a little bit. It'll make them look,
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
and you could kind of do
Yeah.
a radial thing on there so they have some depth, so they look like they're
Oh.
kind of lit up.
Oh, yeah, like a reflector behind the lens or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that could be fun.
yeah, that would have been something. Anyway, I was picturing this would be a pretty neat thing at the end of a hallway or a room
Yeah.
and about a 3 foot by 6 foot poster.
Yeah. Very cool.
Anyway, that was probably my most unique picture out of the whole museum. Anyway, that was my trip to Nebraska.
Good fun. Cool.
Yeah, the nice thing about this class is we go all over the country.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Find some new places to go.
yeah, we
Really interesting.
had Michigan and Colorado
Mhm.
already,
Yeah, pretty cool.
Washington.
All right. Let me pull some stuff up. Real quick. Let's see here. Oh, that's for Wendell's class. Sorry about that.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't hide these yet. This
Well,
is
yeah.
the ones where I was working the skin tone out because the
Oh,
highlights here were just, they were white. I mean, you couldn't even
Oh.
tell what was going on, but Neo really helped out. These are all from the western half of New Guinea. So anyway, let me get back to what I'm showing today. Okay. So this is in Myanmar, Burma.
oh,
And that yellow stuff they put on their face, they use like a sunscreen.
Mm.
oh,
Yeah, it comes
Okay.
like a stick that maybe about 6 inches long and about 1.5 inches wide, brown, and they just kind of, get it a little wet and put it on their face. Just,
Yeah. When I first saw it, I thought it was looking through a window or something and you were getting reflections, but I
Yeah.
see now that it's on their skin.
Yeah.
Huh.
yeah, so this is one of the Buddha shrines there.
Oh, yeah,
I like the color palette really well.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the progression of their eyes.
Yeah, I like the fact that I'm getting just a little indirect, a little direct light. Most of it's indirect and reflective, so it helpful because a lot of areas there was really bright, harsh light.
Yeah.
You'll see in one of them coming up, but probably several of them actually. Yeah, like here's a good example, right? They're really
Mhm.
bringing the shadows up and the highlights down and balancing it out a little bit. This is one of the river markets.
Oh, it looks amazing.
And then there's a little shrine off to the left there. You can see under the trees,
Oh, yeah.
about maybe a dozen stupas back there.
Okay, yeah.
This was all done on Fujichrome originally, and then I scanned it in. It's from probably 95, 96,
Mhm.
a while ago.
Yeah.
Public transportation?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
And they'll ride everywhere and anywhere. They do it on the trains too, outside, on the roof, everywhere. Just
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
No,
And
just
they're all look happy.
Yeah, they're all looking at me pretty much. I guess they're like, who's that guy? I guess it's looking at a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Hmm.
So we're going a pretty good clip.
And look at the driver. He's peeking around, make sure you get his picture.
Yeah,
He's not looking where he's going.
yeah. Yep. So much for that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Quite a crew.
Yeah.
And this is a bridge that when we were there, you can see down below, it's all dry and no grass. It's about 20 feet up in the air. And I guess during the rainy season, it comes right up to the bottom of that walkway.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see
Oh,
even
yeah.
the building on the right's up on stilts.
Yeah.
I see a car on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wouldn't be
Wow.
down there during the rainy season.
I guess not.
Yeah,
But you say this is Myanmar?
correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it at the edge of a lake that comes up? Or
Now, this is a big river.
river? Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Wow.
real, it's like a little creek now, but
Mm.
yeah, during the rainy season, it goes all the way up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is near Rangoon.
Mm.
I like the little dog in the back too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this was just a little breakfast place. And they were just blasting rock music. Just outside behind me, there were the speakers that were about 6 feet high, and they were just going for like the whole village so they could hear it. And you can see up on the walls, you got John Bon Jovi and all these other sort of rock characters. It's almost out of context.
Very much so.
Yeah.
That's
And
an
they keep
example.
these thermoses with boiling hot tea, and basically for sanitary reasons, you take your dishes and your utensils before you'd eat, and you take the bowl and pour the tea in the bowl and put the utensils in there, just to kind of sanitize them with the hot, super hot tea, and then you could eat from there.
Oh.
It's kind of interesting. So I guess that's where the floor is all wet and messy.
Yeah. Wow. That's a great picture.
Just
Oh.
people getting their wash done.
Hmm.
I guess she's washing out some fish, pretty little ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was amazed how low they could crouch. And
Yeah.
it's kind of their relaxing posture in a lot of places.
Mhm.
I probably need a forklift to get up from that.
All over.
Very natural for them, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the guys in the hill tribes.
Hmm.
What's on his teeth?
Looks like silver or gold. They probably lost them. They chew this red nut, which is a stimulant. And usually their teeth turn red or they rot.
Oh, wow.
They mix it with lime, and I'm not talking
Oh.
about the fruit lime. I'm talking about the powdered lime.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's gotta be hard on your teeth. Oh, my
yeah,
God.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
Holy cow.
but
Yeah.
it's either that or smoking, or both.
Hmm.
Yeah, but they do a lot of stimulants. And here they're just separating the chaff from some of the harvest. You can see how high it's piled up in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some little guys from the local monastery.
Boy, each one has such a different expression.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
very
really.
individual.
The guy on the right was really quite sure of himself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the one
the
next to
boss.
him looks terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of personalities there. And this was a very tight shot. On top of this is a edifice of a bull, and inside of it was the last remaining royalty of Ubud in Bali, and they were going to light him up for his funeral. And they basically took about 50 people to pick it up and take it to the area where they were going to set up the burial and the funeral, and do the cremation. And I just thought it was interesting the way the hands were placed together.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's it for today. See here.
Those were great.
Yeah.
Thanks. I guess you got a little preview of what I'm showing tomorrow in Wendell's class. By the way, Wendell mentioned to me earlier before we started that he's going to be showing some layers. If you guys want to learn a little more about layers and stuff, he's going to do that at the end of his class tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be the very basic thing of trying to show how you can get familiar with manipulating them. And it's only a small part of what can be done with them, but I was going to try to demonstrate that in maybe 15 minutes or something like that. Take an example that I've done before to create a composite and show how you maneuver the layers around and hopefully help give a little understanding of how they work.
So do you record your programs too, Wendell?
No, I don't. Well, I hadn't figured out how to do that. Well, I don't have a YouTube account. I guess that would be a first step.
Yeah, actually, you can get from Phil Rock, you can get the club's YouTube password and so on, and then I could run you through how to load them up there. It's pretty easy if you ever want to do it.
Okay.
I think, Valerie, this might be a good course for you to, just a little quickie. And I'll try and send you some links to the programs we use if you're not familiar with them, like Topaz and Neo, and then maybe a couple of videos to get started in Photoshop.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, let me kill the record.